Hey everybody, welcome back to our neck of the woods. In today's video, we are going to finish that bedroom down in the basement. We are going to set it up like it's an actual living bedroom that Aaron and I can sleep down in. But first, some woes of being a homeowner. But back in the house, staining is progressing. We have got so many boards to do. I bought 48 the last time I went out. Each board does take some time. I guarantee there's some professionals out there probably yelling at the TV saying you should like paint the spray on or the stain on. But I just hate using my paint sprayer because I swear to God, cleaning a paint sprayer takes longer than actually like doing the job itself. It's such a pain in the butt to break those things down. And I'm just afraid to like put a bunch of stain through it and then having any residual left over. The next time I actually go to paint, then you've got like water and like mineral oil or whatever you're supposed to put in it to clean it. It came with a bottle of like cleaner to run through it. And then you actually have your paint also. It just seems like it would contaminate the paint and not make it like that great. But we do have to do these by hand. We basically just take a paper towel, rub it on, get it real thick and wet, and then take another clean paper towel and wipe it off dry. And then we just let them sit for about a day for them to dry out. But as for the bedroom down here, again, we have got this wall completely done, this wall completely done. We're about halfway done on the ceiling. To stay up to code, we do have drywall up on the ceiling. So instead of just using this as a whatever room where I guess technically you could put nothing on the ceiling, I believe you do have to meet code where the drywalls like basically meet together. And it's 5/8 fireproof drywall. So that way, if a fire starts here in the bedroom, it doesn't like spread through the house as easy. Even though you have an exposed stained wood that this stuff could probably catch on fire like in a heartbeat. But I want to remain up to code. So 5/8 up there, 1/2 inch or 5/8 on the walls. If you guys have never drywalled ICF before, I do find it easier to use 5/8 on the ICF wall. And that's because when the foam gets compressed a little bit when you're putting your screws in, 1/2 inch drywall just ends up like cracking and breaking, while 5/8 stays a lot more firm and stiff. So while it does increase the price of a build, I do find it better to put 5/8 on your exterior ICF walls, and then you can put like 1/2 inch on the inside if you want to. Unless you're trying to cut down on sound transmission, then it's better to use 5/8 on each side because that does reduce noise. Also on the ceiling, because the master bedroom is right above us, I am using this green compound noise proofing. I think it says that this stuff cuts down on the sound transmission rating up to an 8. I think it's an STC rating. I can't remember off the top of my head what everything is. Like a 1/2 inch of drywall, maybe like a rating of like 10 or something, and 5/8 maybe like 20, and then it just keeps going up with each kind of product that you use. But that gives you another 8. So what I'm using that is on the back of the boards up here on the ceiling. So my ceiling will consist of hopefully not transmitting sound that easily from this bedroom to the master upstairs. Is we've got 5/8 kind of shiplap wood up here, whatever that rating may be. Then we've got the compound on the back side where it's almost like dropping that board down a little bit, giving you that soundproofing. Then we've got the 5/8 drywall. We've got 14-inch I-joists in the gaps, obviously, or the voids of all of the trusses or floor joists. We obviously have 5.5 inches of pink insulation, which cuts down on it on a little bit more. Then up in the actual master bedroom, we've got 3/4 inch OSB subfloor. We're gonna put a soundproofing membrane down on top of that, and then we're gonna put another hardwood floor on top of that, which will be roughly 5/8 of whatever we end up using. You know, oak, hickory, bamboo, whatever you can think of. So that ends up being like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 layers technically of all the materials that you're using. So again, hopefully we're really cutting down on that sound transmission. And the best way that we're gonna know is obviously once the master bedroom gets complete, put a little like radio down in here or something, and then go upstairs and see how loud it actually is. But Erin and I sleep with a fan on, so that cuts down on like outside noise anyway, and it just gives like an ambient noise that we help to sleep. So while she's sleeping at night, I can be down here doing something, and then vice versa, especially when we get a racing sim down here one day. Or I'm in the vault making ammo. We want that to be as quiet as possible. I am only using brad nails, but that green compound is so damn sticky that it'll never come off. And when I am sending the brad nails up into the bottom of the floor joist, which of course is like a 2.5-inch nailing surface of like regular lumber up there, I am sending those brad nails not just straight up. I'll send like one at an angle this way, the other at an angle this way, and it really is hard to pull down. And I just love the look of a brad nail because it's just so tiny. You basically can't even see the nail holes, as opposed if we were to step up to a framing nailer or a trim nailer, the holes would be so much bigger, and I just don't like that look too much. So the brads are what I decided to go with. The only thing I think I've made a mistake, let me know what you guys think about this. On this wall over here, it's almost 15 feet long, and we use 12-foot long boards. So as you can see, we have many joints to where all these boards come together, because the first one on the bottom was like a 12-footer, and then I cut like 2.5 feet off and put the first board down there. Then the second board is obviously a 12-footer with 2.5 feet cut off, and we just keep kind of going back and forth, zigzagging this. But unfortunately, this wall over here is exactly 12 foot, and the ceiling over to the closet is exactly 12 foot. Did I make a mistake that all of those boards right there and all of these boards on the ceiling up to the corner of the closet over there, those are all one-piece boards. There is no seams. Is that a bad thing that I did? Should I have not made this wall 12 foot, or even though it is 12 foot, should I have cut board down to like 4 foot over here and then ran up to 12 and then vice versa, so you could actually see some staggers and stuff? I don't know, is that like in framing or in carpentry, is that like a cardinal rule? You never use a solid piece of lumber. You always want to make it look like you're kind of building a log cabin. I don't think anyone will notice it, but that is a thought that as you're sitting over here looking at this wall, you can see a million seams. But then if you look at this wall, you're like, why is there no seams on that wall and on half of the ceiling? That's kind of weird. But comment down below, did I make a mistake on that? But anywho, I'm gonna be back. I'm gonna finish one piece of drywall down there. We're gonna get to putting these boards up on this wall until we start finishing out the ceiling a little bit. I do need Erin's help for the ceiling. I can't do it on my own. They end up bowing and I can't get them into the tongue and groove, so I have to wait for her to get home. But I'll be back as soon as those boards end up drying and we can at least get this wall kind of halfway up until Erin can help and get the ceiling done. And then we'll finish that wall, we'll finish that wall. Then we'll go to Home Depot or wherever. We will get our carpet and padding. Then all we'll have to do is find out what type of doors that we want down there, and if we're gonna paint them, stain them, finish out the trim up and around, and then we'll have the bedroom complete. But we'll be back with the walls a little bit later. Hey everybody, welcome back. It has been some time. I actually started recording that video that you just saw, I think before Thanksgiving. So yes, we have not done a lot to the house. We have not done a lot of videos, except for some of the hunting gun videos that you guys have seen. But many of you have commented and want to get back to the house. So here we are in like almost the end of January. But the bedroom down in the basement is pretty much almost done. We got our doors and everything picked out, and we're just gonna run through a little bit of that today and show you what's going on. Okay, so number one, carpet is going to be here tomorrow. The bedroom is pretty much done. All of the walls, all of the trimming are done. The only thing I don't have done is the like the bottom plate all the way down and around. We're waiting on the carpet to get installed because so many times in the past I've had the guys put the carpet in, and since the back side of that is like sandpaper, it ends up like scratching the wall, and if it ends up scratching like the lower trim, then that's going to be a lot harder to fix, especially because it's stained. I do not want to be staining in the bedroom with brand new carpet. So they'll put the carpet in tomorrow, then I will go and put our 5.5-inch tall just regular pieces of lumber, just no different than these just square boards here. Like that bedroom's not fancy at all. but instead of 3.5, it's 5.5 all the way along the bottom. Our doors showed up yesterday. We ended up saving a lot of money, but to be honest with you, I am not happy with these doors at all. These are absolute pieces of junk crap. They are from Mastercraft, and they are nothing like what we have upstairs. So all of the doors that we have upstairs, they are solid through and through, Naughty Adler, solid frame, everything like that, and they were very expensive. I think each one of those doors was probably under $1,000. These doors, however, were only about $200, and while they say they're solid, they're actually just like a veneer. But if you look on the back side, you can see that it's OSB. So while it is solid, it's not like real wood. Now, the doors themselves look good. They're almost like what we have up here with kind of the upper arch, but they only came in this like groove down through the middle. But what makes these doors such pieces of junk, this middle section is kind of doing it, but this middle section can move. I don't know if you just saw that, but I can pull the door apart to where basically they like grooved out this all the way around and then like set this insert in. So literally you can grab the upper and lower piece right here, pull it to one side. You have a gap now that you can literally see right into a bedroom. So while this may be like an inch and a quarter thick down here, this insert is probably only 1/4 of an inch thick. Not to mention it's sliding around like where it inserts. So you have absolutely no wood at all. These doors downstairs are gonna be absolutely zero for soundproof, which it is a bedroom downstairs. I don't care all that much, but when we go to stain this today, we're gonna have to maybe put some like wood glue all the way around the edge to basically like lock it in. Or I'm gonna have to send a brad nail like through this piece here to kind of hit the piece below or the insert to kind of keep it more structurally like solid so it doesn't bounce around. But holy crap, what a piece of junk. But once they get stained, they will look nice, but yeah, they're absolutely nothing at all like these way thicker, all one solid piece type of door. And again, I mean, you can hear that. That is a door that's solid through and through. This is a door that's probably not any better than some cheap foam core or one that's just completely hollow. But it's what we could have afforded, so is what it is. All right, as for the bedroom, again, we are done. We're again just ready for carpet tomorrow. I've got a few things that we've got to do. Not every piece of board was able to hold really that well with like just a brad nail. Like I wanted this pushed a little bit more, so some places got some screws, which then I put wood glue over, and I've got to sand that down today. The framing for here example, I put wood filler all the way around, so I've got to sand all that today, and then I've got to completely stain everything before we make a huge dust nest in here. You guys saw in the last video, the closet is almost being done. Once I get this door on though, we'll shut the door so dust doesn't come out here, but we do still have to unfortunately sand. Or if we want to put more wood up in here and not actually have to worry about drywall, we'll have to figure that out. Or I need a sander that can like collect dust at the same time so we can get all this nice and smooth and it doesn't look bad. But I'm going to try and knock out as much as I can today. Plenty of sanding, paint that later on, stain the doors, get those installed after the carpet goes in, which will create a little bit of dust, but it is what it is. And yeah, everything else looks good. I don't know how much shows up on camera because the light is really weird with the sun coming in, and these lights aren't that bright on camera. But all of our corners got boxed in. We've got basically a crown molding of 3.5 inch all the way up and around, so that hides the seam where the wall boards meet the ceiling boards. We have got our vent in there, which I think looks absolutely awesome. That actually is a floor vent. We didn't like any of the ceiling vents that we saw, and a floor vent actually works a little bit better. The only thing we had to do though was drill through the metal frame there. I had to get a special bit that basically cuts. Once you drill the hole, it kind of like tapers it, so a screw with a taper head actually fits nice and flush in there and it looks way better. But I like that that's a floor vent because the venting is a little bit easier. So once the HRV is complete with all of the venting for every single room, we can go to each one of these vents and slide the lever open and close so we can actually control the volume of flow. So it's not 100% blasting air down in here, or it's not like 100% sucking out air in like the bathroom next door. And that way, everything down in every single vent location, you know, they can obviously be tailored so the flow is equal in every single room. So the floor vent just ended up looking a little bit better, and it ends up actually functioning, I think, a little bit better too. But fingers crossed they show up tomorrow. Install goes according to plan, and we will be done and maybe spend the first night in our new house. Oh, and sorry, didn't want to leave you guys hanging here. Just stain that first door. But we did stain the door a different color than what all the trim is, but I know it's like impossible to tell. So like this board right here, this is our stain out on the porch, and that's supposed to be ebony. So this is almost completely black, while this board is one stain under it. I don't know how this looks on camera. It's almost hard for me to see, but you've got the big board that's black ebony. You've got this board, which is called Kona. It's basically just one shade lighter. And then for the doors, so we have a little bit of a difference. While everything down in that basement is Kona, I went ahead and did the door in dark walnut. So it is a little bit lighter. So the doors, you can actually see that there is a door and get out of the bedroom. So it doesn't just all blend in one solid color. You do have the door that is lighter. You've got the trim in the entire room, which is much darker, but this is not even that dark compared to the ebony, which is obviously the darkest. But hopefully once we get that guy completely dried, I do the backside and we get that down actually in the bedroom. Hopefully everything pops and looks very nice. Right, everybody, back a few days later. The carpet guy just left. Unfortunately, they did not come out on Tuesday. It's Thursday. Apparently, they told Aaron they ran out of the carpet or didn't have it in stock. I don't know. But I swear, every time I say fingers crossed they show up, something always happens. But we are that much closer to moving stuff into the bedroom. Today, unfortunately, I've got to do two things. Number one, I've got to go buy all of the 1x6 lower treads, as we are not complete yet, like all the way down and around. Obviously, the vault door was on there because I didn't want the guy who may be local actually know that that's a secret vault door. So everything is hidden, so he didn't actually know that the vault was in there. But we got to go buy a bunch of 1x6s, and I'm very shocked. They told Erin that she needed to have the lower trim on first, which is so stupid because no matter what, as you can see, hopefully right there, the carpet ends up basically scratching the wood. So I've got to basically rub this off, and hopefully it's not permanent, but I don't see why you would want your trim on first, especially if it's painted trim. You're just gonna end up scratching it. So that 1x6 will basically cover this up. I think it goes to about right there on height. But we've got a lot of staining to do because I've got to do the entire room. And as you can see, we've got our door installed. I still got to do a little bit of sanding where all of our screw holes were. I've got some like wood filler in here. I've got to sand that down and then stain it. And then the other unfortunate thing is I bought the wrong closet door. So I bought a 32-inch closet door and I needed a 28. That did show up in like 3 days though, so the door is ready for pickup right now. But we're gonna have to stain it, let it sit for 2 or 3 days, so I do not bring stained lumber in here and basically get it on the new carpet. So I may just wrap this video up here and then do maybe one more. Just depends how I feel about getting a video out to you guys. But yeah, we've got to buy all of the lower boards. We've got to stain them all. We've got to go pick up the door, stain it. They've got to sit for 2 or 3 days to really super dry. So again, we don't get it on the carpet. And then some sanding for where these screw holes are going to have to be hidden. Unless I pop off the trim this time, which I may actually do. So instead of actually having to see the nail hole or the screw hole and then filling it, we may just have to pop this trim off here and put the screw behind it. That would make it a little bit easier of an install and not create a lot of dust in here when we're sanding this down. As for what we're gonna do here in the closet, creating a whole bunch of dust, I think I mentioned this before, even if you buy a sander that's hooked up to like a shop vac, it still blows dust everywhere. It's not like 100%. So I do not want white dust basically getting all over like dark walls because it's gonna be a pain in the butt to clean up. So I asked Erin, is there anything that we can like throw up on the walls that's not like the same type of tongue and groove lumber? If there's anything else, maybe you guys should comment right now. If I don't want to sand because I got lazy and ran out of time, what should I put on these drywall walls that's basically thin enough that's recessed back? I can cut individual sections out and stick them in here and stuff. Maybe some sort of like wainscoting or like a fake brick veneer or something to throw up on here. Because I know all the stores sell like 4x8 sheets of like tons of different types of products that again look like brick or stone or wainscoting or this, that, and the other. That would be very easy to like basically glue on there, and then this entire closet just gets painted. And we just have to protect the carpet in there from like paint drips. That should be super easy to do. But I don't know, what do you guys think? Somehow sanding the drywall or putting something else up in its place. Oh, and then one other mistake that I made. So third thing that I still have to finish, that concrete step unfortunately is no longer up to code. When I put the lumber on here and the drywall to get the thickness that I wanted to basically cover the bottom of the window framing, that lifted that up enough that the top of that concrete to the top of this board right here is no longer egress code. I believe it's 44 inches. We are at 45.5. So I am 1.5 inches short. But that's okay because they make 1.5 inch lumber. So the reason why there is not carpet on top of that concrete is because I think I'm gonna have to buy a 2x12, cut it down a little bit, and basically I'm just gonna end up staining it. I'm gonna like bull nose it with my router, and that way when you go to step up on here, you will be stepping up on to 1.5 inch piece of lumber, and then you can easily egress out in case of a fire. But I should have made that concrete basically 1.5 inches taller, and that way we could have just padded and carpeted up there, and it would have kind of matched everything else in the room. But it is what it is. Mistakes are made. So let me think about this. Should I wrap this video up right here? Or should I come back in 3 days and actually show you guys the finished product, even though the closet will not be finished? Oh, and then I can do these real quick. Aaron got black velvet blackout curtains.
What is that, velvet?
That we can basically hang up here. So I can throw the rod up real quick, throw these up. That's one more little piece of thing that we have to do, and then this room will be even that much more complete. Okay, I'm at least gonna do the curtains real quick, just so we can see how dark it gets in here. It came with these normal kind of like holding brackets here, and then a rod just sits down in there. But what I'm not liking about these, I think these are too long. So where they get attached to the wall, the curtains are pushed out to where the rod actually sits. It's like almost 2-3 inches away from the wall, which of course is gonna let a ton of light go out the top and out the sides, so that's not gonna work. So where that screw hole is right there, where the two pieces get attached, I'm gonna try and cut at least like a 1/2 inch off of this, and then cut like a 1/2 inch off of this, and hopefully it should be able to still pinch it and hold it together. The only thing is, those curtains literally are floor to ceiling. They're like almost 9 feet long. So instead of putting the bracket like on the window like you would right here normally, I think we're gonna have to put it all the way up onto the crown molding. So that way the top of the curtain basically almost touches the ceiling. And then it looks like they drape down to where they may have like a 1/2 inch actually up off of the carpet. So that way they're not just laying on the carpet and all bunched up. But I'm waiting for Aaron to respond back to me to see if that's appropriate or not. But I'm at least gonna trim these back a little bit so the curtains almost touch the wood, or they actually do touch the wood. And then that will cut out a crap load of sunlight when we're sleeping, especially me on day shift or night shift when I'm sleeping during the day. I'll be right back, I'm gonna go cut these. All right, curtains installed. We may not need blinds. Like I said, I kind of shortened that bracket up a little bit. That got them way closer to the window to actually go in there and kind of touch the wall and block the light. They are definitely floor to ceiling. The brackets are actually up on the crown molding. It's not actually on the windowsill again. Again, because you can see down over here, it was almost completely touching the carpet, and no matter what, it's gonna rub on that top step. But with that completely closed up, and with the lights turned off, you probably can't see anything, but there's just absolute minimal amount of light up around the top. And depending how you drape these off to the side, almost nothing comes through. And then of course you just have your little overlap in the middle that you can do. But overall, I mean, it's a curtain install, extremely simple and easy to do. One more thing done that we can go ahead and hopefully get the bed in here soon. But I still gotta make a bed frame, so the bed's not actually sitting on the carpet. I still gotta do that. Aaron wants some sort of bed frame to sit it up off the ground. And again, I don't wanna put any furniture in here until I get all my trim in, because it'll just be in the way. Let me know again what you guys think in the closet, how we're gonna finish that out, instead of just being painted drywall, because I suck at drywall and I'm not paying anyone any money to do the smallest room in the world. And then I'll be back with another video for you guys when we're actually in here to show you how the bedroom is actually trimmed out. And I cannot freaking wait. But guys, comment down below. Let me know what you think. Let me know what you want us to do. And we still have some t-shirts if you guys want to pick some up with Neck of the Woods logo and stuff on the front and the back. Let us know if you guys want to pick one of those up. So until next time, we will see you guys later, and take care.